Today's psalm is Psalm 21, a psalm of praise for deliverance. And remember, as we look at these psalms referring to Christ, whatever blessings he has and obtains through his finished work and victory, we have in him. O Lord, in your strength, the King will be glad. That's Jesus. And in your salvation, how greatly will he rejoice? He triumphed over the grave. You have given him his heart's desire, and his desire was the glory of God and, of course, the obtaining of his people. You have not withheld the request of his lips. Now think about that for a moment. He requested you. The Bible teaches us, we've already seen in Psalm 2, that the Father had given the Son the nations for his inheritance. He desired to inherit us. You meet him with the blessings of good things. You have set a crown of gold on his head. He asked life of you. You did give it to him. Length of days forever and ever. His glory is great through your salvation. Splendor and majesty you have placed upon him. You have made him most blessed forever. You make him joyful with gladness of your presence. For the King trusts in the Lord, and through the loving kindness of the Most High, he will not be shaken. Your hand will find out all your enemies. And now we get back to the destruction, of course, of his enemies. Your right hand will find out those who hate you. And again, we've already seen that Christ is the right hand of God. You will make them as a fiery oven in the time of your anger. That was the Roman siege destroying the Pharisees, Jerusalem, and the temple. You will swallow them up. The Lord will swallow them up in his wrath, and fire will devour them. Their offspring you will destroy. That word is literally fruit. And he did destroy their offspring. I know that seems hard for people to imagine, but that was God's way of ending the nation of Israel and ending the offspring of the enemies of Christ, those who were the Jews. And their descendants from among the sons of men, though they intended evil against you and devised a plot, they will not succeed, for you will make them turn their back. You will aim your bowstrings at their faces. Be exalted, O Lord, in your strength. We will sing and praise your power. So this running connection, inseparable connection between the people of God who are considered his rod and his strength and Christ who is considered the rod. In Revelation, we see that we rule the nations with the rod of iron, and it also teaches that Christ rules the nations with the rod of iron. Again, a little reminder, Jesus said, I am the light of the world, and he said, you are the light of the world. And so when we are called the Israel of God in Galatians chapter 6, we have to remember what that word means in Hebrew, Yisrael, which means rule as God. So in the Old Testament, they ruled as God with the carnal sword, going into nations physically and destroying them, decimating them. But yet a new kind of warfare takes place, as Christ said, my kingdom is not of this world. In his discussion with Pilate, he said, if my kingdom were this world, my servants would fight. And he knew what kind of kingdom Pilate was used to, a kingdom of physical soldiers, armies, swords, and chariots. But Paul said, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down every imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. It's a different kind of warfare. It's a warfare that involves the shield of faith, the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, and feet that are shod with the preparation of the gospel. It's a kind of warfare that always experiences victory. Thanks be to God who always causes us to triumph in Christ Jesus. We are victorious. Thanks be to God who gives us the victory, 1 Corinthians 15. So enjoy that psalm, an imprecatory psalm, but also a psalm of praise and thanksgiving for God's victory and salvation.